Hi, I'm Jordan Thorne. We're here at TMRE 2019. Today I'm joined by Kevin Lonnie. He's the CEO and president of KL Communications. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure.
So I wanted to know if you could tell me a bit about your role at KL Communications. Are there any industry challenges that you're currently facing as a CEO?
Yes and yes. So let's see, I started KL Communications 23 years ago, so it's been quite a while. Back in the days of You Got Mail, which was like this sort of AOL kind of thing. So it's going through a lot of changes. So when you ask me about industry challenges, I kind of think like, well, when haven't I had an industry challenge? It's like, so how are the new ones different? And when I started the company, we started out like in the really early days of online research, and that was considered very avant-garde, and now it's like just totally traditional. And then we started doing online communities of sort of passionate customers for our core clients. And we've been doing that for quite a while too. And that category has gotten very crowded. So the challenge that I'm facing at the moment is, well, how do you differentiate? What makes you unique? Why should you be the best choice? And so we've had to change a little bit about the way we do things, and it keeps us constantly moving forward and pressing the envelope. So where we're netting at now is this idea of more of a proactive relationship with customers. We consider that more consistent with like what millennials and Gen Z are looking for, more social reciprocity, less cheesy incentives, and more having an opportunity to have a voice with the brands they're passionate about. So we think that's trending in the direction of where customers want to go. So that's my current challenge that I'm facing, to try and keep innovating the company to make us unique and a best value.
Very interesting. And how do you personally foster creative and innovative thinking within your organizations?
You know, that's a great question, because it's like one thing to say, okay, we're going to foster customer co-creation with our clients, but what about fostering that type of co-creation with my own employees?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, I kind of feel like the plumber where the faucet's leak in his own house. It's like, it's one thing to talk the talk, it's another thing to actually do it, close to home. So I've been trying actually in the past year to do a better job with that and getting my employees more involved in some of the directions that we think we should do. We recently did a SWOT analysis with our clients, and we got a lot of good direction from that. And rather than me, as the CEO, just arbitrarily saying, okay, here are the changes we're going to make.
Yeah.
All I did was just share the results with my employees and said, this is what they're telling us. What do you think we should do? So we're still in the process of doing that, because it's like, it works a lot better if I could create a poll from my employees, and that they kind of, feel like they got their oars in the water and they're going to be the ones responding to that. We got the back conferences here. We got TMRE, and then we got Back End of Innovation. I just saw this presentation from the Director of Innovation for Google, Frederick Furt, and he was talking about, if you really want to get that, you got to get people in a psychological safe place, and you don't challenge them. It's like you ask questions and let them try to answer it, and it's more like yes and type thing. Yeah. So it's a matter of creating that comfort zone and, sort of empowering them. So I'm trying to do focusing on, it's more about where the team wants to go and not necessarily where I think we should go.
I love that answer.
Oh, good. I'm glad you did.
So in your session, you discussed the evolution of online communities.
Right.
Why do you think online communities is important to business growth, and how has KL Communications used this to their advantage?
Well, I think online communities have been growing as a segment of the market research industry. Right now, they're close to 2% of the total market, which may not seem like a lot, but it's actually been one of the fastest growing, options in our industry. And I think one of the reasons for it is, first and foremost, it's a very cost-effective mechanism. You get maybe 1,000 core customers, and you invite them into the community, you create a value proposition, you explain what's in it for you. We focus a lot on intrinsic motivation. Your voice does make a difference. We're going to share with you the things that this brand or this company is doing differently because of you. And so that's, I think, one of the reasons that online communities are growing. because people are getting tired of random surveys, and they always seem to come at a bad time, or they're too time consuming, and they don't really feel they're getting anything out of it. But if you're a member of a community and you feel like you're part of an advisory team,
Okay.
there's more of a sense of reciprocity. So I think they're going to continue to grow, and to foster that, we need to create more tools to help the customers feel empowered, rather than just traditional market research tools, which are kind of reactive and passive.
Okay, very interesting.
Ah.
So, what role does AI play in automating market research online communities, and how do you foresee its role being maybe 5 to 10 years down the line?
Well, it's hard to see like 5-10 years out, but right now AI is making big changes within the industry, and we need to embrace it as well, because we want to be as cost effective as possible.
Yeah.
And also want to like respect my people's time. So if anything we can offload to automation and AI, so it allows them to focus on really finding the story and the narrative, and helping our clients understand what the issue is, or what our customers feel that the solution is. I mean, that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
And so there's different things. One is in terms of the, like as I indicated, with the deliverables, making that easier for our people, so they focus on more of the high-end learnings.
Okay.
The other thing is making our dashboards more interactive, more entertaining, more visually pleasing. If one of our clients is in a meeting and they say, what's going on with this segment, they're able to call up the dashboard and see it, or maybe call for a polling question, and we can have results for them later that day. So that's kind of cool. And then the final thing is like a better integration of through APIs of third-party software. So we do online communities, which is like, it's a hub of different research activities. And why our proprietary platform provides a lot of great tools, there are a lot of things being designed all the time. So we like to be able to capture that and offer that to our clients as well, and make it seamless as something we can offer within the community. So a lot of really cool stuff, and I'm sure a lot of more 5-10 years down the road, I'm sure it's going to be wonderfully different too.
Have you seen anything at the event that any kind of new technologies that you could potentially see being integrated into your software?
Well, one company that's out here is VoxPopMe, which does a great job with video integration, and they, through open-ended questions, and then they captured, and they're able to like use text analytics to give you a real overview of like what folks are saying, and we're now integrating them into our platform as well too. So yeah, so that's just an example of another third-party integration, and I'm sure there'll be a lot more to follow.
Very interesting. And so we talked a little bit about some other kind of newer technologies.
Yeah.
Are there any disruptive tools available currently, and do you see any potential impact on the product innovation?
Well, one of the tools that we've developed ourselves as part of answer that question, Jordan, is that we've created our own methodology called crowd weaving. And it gets back to what I said before about trying to make the relationship with customers more of a quid pro quo, and empower them to really have a voice in helping to solve our clients' business challenges. So this is an opportunity for, as a company has a business challenge, where we can get customers involved at the very inception of how they might try to solve that. And then the way that their customers try to solve it, we then share with their internal creative team. And then they can observe that and be inspired by how customers are feeling and thinking, and become empathetic to what they're doing, and use that to create perhaps new concepts or new products and solutions. Because typically it's been more a matter of like, R&D creates these things, and you run it by the consumer and see like, is this going to work or not? But this way, you're actually using customer inspiration at the very beginning to get to a better starting point. So it's not like where you're outsourcing to customers, but you're trying to use customers to inspire your own creativity.
Okay.
It's a little bit like, even musicians, when they go out and, they're trying to, they'll see whether or not an album is going to be successful. They play certain songs and they see how the crowd is reacting, and they might change things from that. So it's more a matter of allowing that kind of co-creation and making sure that things will be successful.
Amazing. And for someone who would essentially want to be part of an online community,
Yeah.
how could they approach doing that? Or is it, do you sort of pull from the actual customers?
We actually, typically our clients will have a database of customers, and we'll explain the value proposition of the community. So, like an advisory board, if you
Okay.
will. And then that appeals to quite a few people. And then once we do that, and we get them in, and the community is varying in size from several hundred to we have ones that are over 10,000 members.
Wow, okay. That's great.
And then it is a matter of sharing back with them, what the client is now doing because of the input that they have provided.
Yeah.
And I think that's, again, I'll harken back to the idea of social reciprocity. It's okay, I don't have time for a random survey because, I don't feel you particularly care what I have to say,
Yeah.
and it's intrusive. But if I'm getting the direct feedback that my opinion is really making a difference in what you're doing, and I'm being respected for my time, then I'm willing to participate. So I think it's trying to create, again, something a little bit more organic and something that makes sense to people.
Yeah.
I think people like to have their opinions heard and be valued from that. So we're trying to make that happen.
Sounds like a great way to keep them feeling valued and your
Yeah,
customers
because
as well.
we're competing against they could be on Instagram or Facebook or any other form of social media. So why do they give us 15 minutes of their time?
Yeah.
It's it's the same. It's the same sort of feeling. Give me something back. Make me feel like this is a good use of my spare time.
Yeah.
So we're very focused on that.
Amazing, it makes sense. To finish off, can you briefly describe what customer co-creation is and how the principles of design thinking factor into it?
Well, customer co-creation is essentially, again, helping understand things from the customer's point of view. And then, typically, the customer gets involved a little bit later in the process, and it's in a reactive type way. I've already created the concept, or here's the product, what do you think of it? And they critique it. But they really had nothing to do with the design of that concept or that product. So the idea of the customer co-creation is to allow them to get at the forefront, at the inception, help come up with ideas like, I need a product that does this. And if you're a really good creative and you're watching this, that really channels some ideas. And it's well, I could do this, or I could go in this direction. So what you want to do is put the customer at the beginning, use them as inspiration. So it's kind of like, you've got this great internal creative talent and you want to make them even better. And then you're more likely to create something that's going to actually succeed. So I'm thinking of something that works on all accounts. I think it works for the customers because they feel they've had a lot of influence in terms of how this product was formed. And it helps the creatives too, or even R&D departments.
Yeah.
Because all they want to know is let me create something that people actually want. And so this is a way of getting there with more confidence.
Incredible. It sounds you're really sort of taking a lead in the market and listening to your customers and the audience. So
yeah, we're kind of treading in different worlds because obviously we started in market research.
Yeah.
We're kind of treading on the innovation space now too. So it's kind of fun.
Sounds like an exciting
It
time.
is.
Yeah.
So you're breaking out of your bubble a little bit, and you're just finding because we've always been the champion and the voice of the customer. Now the customer's voice has traditionally been passive and reactive, but if we're going to make it more dynamic and allow them to be part of the process, then we have to raise our game up too.
Amazing.
So that's kind of fun. Because now we're dealing not only with insights departments, but sometimes innovation departments, and so it's a whole new ball game for us.
Territory,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Kevin, for speaking to me. It's been great.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
All right.